let me just, another thing real brief before we start up, I want to just cover what is a page in dotCMS. Let me just look at this very, very simple training homepage, and then we're going to dig right in. Okay, so what is a page? All right, I created this little training home page really, really quickly. If I look at page properties, this is a page. That's it. It doesn't have content on it. It doesn't have anything. It's just a few properties. Okay, it's a training home, a URL. It exists in a folder, and it chooses a template. Now that's your key to the rest of the jigsaw puzzle right there. Which template are you choosing? The template then parses containers, the containers then parse content, and all of it comes together on the fly in a fraction of a second, right? It's got a friendly name, whether it's showing menu or not, sort order, whether it has its own static cache, a redirect URL if your page is no longer kind of valid, some SEO, keywords, description, metadata, and canonical URL. And that's pretty much it. You can have rules that are assigned in the rules engine to one particular page or site-wide. You've got some permissions and a history of who's touched the page and changed it. And that's it. That's all of a page is. Now, whenever a page connects to a template, and let me click cancel on the page editing, and from the page, I can click on edit template and see what the template does. Now, this is a template designer template. So it has, you can add rows and columns and manage everything through the GUI. But the template just lays out, does it have a header? Does it have a footer? And it's just laying out how the page is going to come together. But it also has no content on it unless you have, something written right into the code on the container inside of an advanced container. But just parsing a bunch of ETL files, a bunch of code files or containers, right? And that's it. So there's really not much to a template either. We do have some examples of advanced templates I'll show you later that have some code right in there. Then how does the container that's being parsed here on the page, how does that link up to the content? Well, once again, I edit the container from the page, and I can see I've got a div here to start it off, and then I've got all of these different choices for different types of content. I've got media, blog, news, generic content. So if I clicked on generic content, there's just that one field that's being shown. Events, how do they get formatted? And different fields being exposed for different pieces of content. Maybe it's just showing me a listing. Maybe it's doing velocity binary, anything that you want as a webmaster to do whenever somebody tries to place that type of content. And if I click add content here and I go to new content, it gives me a choice. Which one of those do you want to contribute? If I say generic content, then I can create a new piece of generic content, or if I want to get rid of this dotCMS content architect training here, let me just get rid of it real quick. I can reuse content that already exists. Now, whenever I delinked it, all I did was delink it from the page. I didn't get rid of it. So I can choose that content again. Just click search. There's the welcome to training message. It's pulling by the latest created, and now my content's back. So your content is really, it exists in the repo. It doesn't exist on any one particular page. It's merely linked to your pages, right? And that way, if this same content exists on 100 different pages, I edit it once from the content search manager, or I edit it on the page, and then it changes in all of those places. If I want to look at the content, I want to see all of the pages that this piece of content exists on, I click on references, and it tells me which page it actually exists on. If I had this on multiple pages, it would list all of them, right? So the page calls a template. The template lays out the page, whether it's got a header, a footer, a main body page, a side column, side nav, whatever it has, and then it parses those containers. The containers format the way that the content's going to appear whenever a content publisher publishes it. Then the content publisher uses the containers by clicking on add content. Obviously, there shouldn't be any add content containers in the header or the footer normally, right? And then reuses content, adds new content of that content type, or possibly, if they have permissions, add widget or add form. And then all of that comes together on the fly whenever a page is rendered in dotCMS. Okay, so that's a very long-winded overview of the backend features we're going to cover and kind of what is a page inside of dotCMS. Okay, and then we're going to get more in depth into this. This is a one-page app type of application, dotCMS. So you'll notice even while I'm browsing a page, if I wanted to go to the content search manager, I just click on it, and this left-hand menu always stays there, right? If I go back to site browser and I open up my training page, you'll see that you can collapse that left-hand side. You can collapse this right-hand side to kind of expand the views, but you can always navigate over here on the left-hand side to any other area of the site. All right, so kind of one-page app mentality, and this is using Angular here on the back end. All right, so now, after kind of the explanation of the biggest, largest concepts, now we're going to do the hands-on so you guys can, I don't put you to sleep further. And let's go ahead and dig into the site browser. Go to the training directory and let's add a folder of your own name here. Okay. Everybody ready? Do a little hands-on. Stop listening to me talk only. All right. Let's go ahead and right-click on the training directory under Site and Browser. Click New Folder. And I want you to put your first name. And I don't think anyone has anybody has the same first name in the room that I heard so far, but just go ahead and put your last initial just in case. Click Show on Menu for this folder. That's it. So first name, last initial, show on menu, and don't worry about this for right now, and just click Save. Okay. And let me refresh. All right. Looks like we've got some folders going in there now. Okay. So the next thing I want you to do is I've got a home page here myself, but I want you to add one of your own. So right-click on your named folder that you just created, click New, and Page. We already added a folder. Now we're adding a page. Then we'll add images. We'll add multiple images. Then we'll add menu links, etc., etc. And we'll go one by one down the site browser options. Okay, so once again, right-click your folder, New, and Page. Leave it as page asset, but notice that you could actually create a landing page as well, which is a different type of page asset. So you can create different page content types that have different properties of a page. See, like here, this page doesn't have its own social networking links, but if I wanted a new page content type that allowed me on a page-by-page basis to put a different Twitter and a different Facebook and a different, whatever, I could, and add those new properties to the page content type. Okay. So for this page, let's just go ahead and put, I'm just going to call it Dean's homepage. And then I'm going to let the URL automatically build itself just by clicking anywhere else. And the template, let's go ahead and do, just type the number 2 and choose the bottom option because I want to be able to side nav to your pages at any time. So just type the number 2 in template and then choose the last option, which is 2-column with side nav. Gives us a little preview. And try to make sure you get that cache time to live. Let's not get any false negatives there. And put 0 there for the cache time to live. Let's see, do we want show in menu? No, because we already have it on our folders. Okay, and save and publish. And then we should be looking at this. So, all right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create some content on our homepage. Now, Sam, the only reason that I'm not seeing you here is because you're missing a checkbox. So, Sam, you're missing the checkbox on the folder, which is just this show on menu here. So I'm going to get you in there and save. And I think Matthew, same thing. Checkbox, save. Now I can go to my training homepage And I can see everybody now. That way I can click on your name and get immediately to your page, So the next thing I want you to do is go to go back to the site browser. If you're on your home page, just go ahead and click back on browser over here on the left hand side. Click on browser and then click on your folder under the training folder. I want you to right click and go to page properties on your page. Okay, right click and page properties from the site browser. No matter where you were, you should be able to click on site browser. Then your folder underneath the training folder. Right click on your folder that appears in the main detail area and page properties. Now, make sure that you click. No, you don't need to. You do not need this show on menu checked, but if you did, and the reason that you don't need the show on menu checked is because your folder automatically has show on, well, I mean, whenever we created your folders, we had show on menu, and this is going to be the default page of your folder. Okay. Now, how do we make this particular page? What if there's 20 pages inside the directory? How do we make it the default page that whenever you hit the folder itself? So if you just go for, this training website / Dean G, how does it know which page to go to? Well, what we need to do is change this URL right here. Instead of just it automatically takes the title and kind of does a URL friendly URL automatically, but we can manipulate that. So highlight your URL and type index, and that will make it the default page whenever you just hit the folder URL and you don't put any page reference, it'll still resolve. Okay, so lock for editing and save and publish. And
can you do a quick explanation of the lock for editing? So if we lock it, does that mean another user couldn't then go and edit it, or
yes,
what's the purpose of that?
It's pessimistic content locking. So if I am editing the page, then it automatically locks everybody else out of the page who's not a administrator.
Okay, great. Cheers.
Yeah. And the same for content, same for everything else, has the same locking concept. All right. But we're going to make things appear in that left-hand nav. But by default, the reason I didn't do that with the index page is because I didn't want in the main navigation menu, I didn't want whenever we go to Dean G, I didn't want there to be SubNav options for the same exact page that you hit whenever you just hit the main folder, right? The folder is the way to get to the index page. Now we're going to add some sub-navigation menus that are things other than the home page. Okay, you'll see whenever we get there. All right, so I'm going to make sure I'm on my index page, and let's lock it for editing. Oh, sorry. Let's go ahead and lock it for editing, and let's go ahead and add a little welcome message whenever they land on our index page so that we know we've hit our index page. So click Add Content, New Content here on your own index page. So just edit your own index page from the browser and select Generic Content after you've added new content. So click Add Content, New Content, Generic Content. Okay. Once you click that, then you should get title and body. And so, I'm going to Dean's welcome message, and I'll just do some lorem ipsum or something.
Are there any customizations to the WYSIWYG so we can lock certain things down on that? I know that's a bit later down if we're going to talk about it, but is it possible to do that?
Yeah, everybody does that. Yeah, you can totally hide or show and then manipulate via your main CSS file, you know, how H2s and H3s and LIs and ULs work, and show. So yeah, totally customizable, and pretty much every client has a little plugin to say which fields from those WYSIWYGs are going to be exposed.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. That's more something support handles, since it's almost a part of every single client's onboarding, you know, and using dotCMS and setting it up. So if you just say, hey, we're ready to talk about WYSIWYG options, supports the best kind of people to handle that. So I just added a welcome message to my training homepage. Now we're going to add multiple items to the SubNav underneath that training homepage. So click back on your site browser. We're kind of covering the site browser first, and what are all your right-click options here. So go ahead and right-click the folder of your own name again. New, we've already done a new folder. We've already done a new page. So now let's go ahead and do image or file. So go ahead and click image or file. Let's allow it to be the default file asset, but you could also upload documents, file assets, videos. You know what? Let's go ahead and choose let's choose document and click select. And now you can upload a PDF from your own desktop or whatever. I think I'll just choose a PDF, an agenda from my downloads page. You know, here we go. Content Architect Remote. I'm just going to go ahead and open up that agenda. I could put a little description in here. I'll add some lorem ipsum there. Okay. Those are non-required taxonomies, so we won't put anything there. And you'll notice there's a customized workflow over here to the left. Save as draft, send for review, send to legal, or publish. But I'm going to go ahead and publish at this time. Okay. And now we've got this agenda here. Okay, so everybody should be seeing something, some sort of document here. Once it's uploaded, right-click and edit that same document that we just uploaded, or file or image, whatever you did. Click edit. And then go to the metadata tab. Once you upload, whether it's an image, whether it's a file or anything, you'll see all of the metadata automatically skimmed from the file itself. Now I uploaded a PDF, but if you uploaded an image, then you should be able to see the camera that you used to take the picture, when it was taken, what year. All of that metadata is gleaned from the file. Now, if we want a file to automatically appear in our side menu, then on the metadata tab, we click on show on menu. We got to lock for editing, I guess, first. Click show on menu and republish that file. Okay. So as long as you did the show on menu on the file, open up your index page again by just double clicking on it. I'm going to open up my index, and now I should see that Content Architect training agenda. Now that's got a really long name on it, so it doesn't look very good in my left-hand menu. But if I click on it in my side nav, then it should automatically open up that agenda. or go to that file, right? Let me know if everybody's seeing their file appearing in that left-hand navigation. Okay, so you can make show on menu for files, images, show on menu for other pages, etc. Let's go ahead and create a new page, and let's call it just a regular page asset inside your directory. Let's call it movies. The template we're going to use, just just type in 2, and then make sure you choose the very last option, not the first one, the last option, or you'll get that internet guy. 2 column with side nav. We want show on menu. Okay, and do a 0 on the cache, the static cache for the page. Okay, movies. So everybody will have the same URL. 2 column with side nav quest, show on menu. 3 things on that page. And then delete your cache, put it to 0, and save and publish. So here in the SubNav here, just want to point out that whenever you're looking at this SubNav, whenever you have the page edited, you can click on this little SubNav menu reorder. So if I want here, and you could mess around with everybody's SubNav here, but if I wanted my movies to be first, my content architect to be second, I could click on it, save my changes, and you guys can overwrite that as well because you're all admins, so just be careful. Now it's rearranged, and of course the top level navigation as well, and you can mess around with sub item menus and the main menu items as well. Okay. Zoomed in too much. Yeah, I'll just cancel those changes. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new content type called movies, and we're actually going to format it to a container on our page so that we can start understanding the relationship between creating a content type and then what the content publisher perspective is. Okay. So we've done a lot of the basics here on the site browser, understand kind of how navigation is controlled by show on menu items on the site browser. Now let's go ahead and start creating those content types. Okay. So the first thing I want to show is the difference between the different content types. Here, if please go to types and tags and content types, and then filter by, up here in this top left hand, file. Okay. Now file content types are, okay, so I've got documents, and the document content type has these specific fields. There's host or folder, a file asset to upload the file, a file name, a title, description, a publish date, services type, topic type for categorization, tag field, metadata, show on menu. Some of these fields you see that they can't be deleted. They're system fields. Whenever you're uploading a file, they're mandatory. The rest of these that have a little trash can symbol next to them are customized to this particular file content type for documents, right? If I go back and I click on content types again, if I look at videos, it's the same file content type, but then there's thumbnail, things that videos need, description, publish. Maybe there should be, more. I can add more fields to that type of content whenever I upload it. if I wanted to create a new content type for maybe audio files or something like that, I could just create new content type, make sure it's of type file, and I could click save. I don't want you guys to do this. I'm just showing you what's the difference. And then we're going to create our own regular content types in just a second. File content types automatically get all of these, because to upload a file using a content type, you kind of need all these. You need the site or folder where it's going to, where it's uploaded to. You need to record that. Something to upload the file, the title of the file name, the metadata from the file, the show menu checkbox, the sort order option, and the description. Okay, those are all. And then I can add, I don't know, text duration. And I could add a hint here and say, and give a formatting, advice or something like that. You could even do regex validation. There's even some suggested regex validation. What if it was a phone number or something like that? Regular expression. A default value, if you wanted to have one, whether it's required, user searchable, system indexed, whether it shows in the content search listing, whether it's a unique field or not, that you can't have repeated values, all of those, right? I'm going to click cancel. I don't need those extra fields. But and then the second that I create the audio files guide, then I can go to content search, and then I can start uploading new audio files. And there's my file asset field, title, file name, metadata, show on menu options, sort order, and description. Okay, so it's really easy to create new content types of any type, and then start contributing new content and then placing them on pages or folders or whatever. If I right now go to my site browser, then I go to my folder, I can right click new file, and now I can select the audio file. And I select, and then it gives me, those fields. If I wanted to go to content types, audio files, and add that duration field, add new field to text, duration, use a searchable, maybe show in list, maybe it's not required. I'll take duration, I'll move it right underneath file name, and then go back to the content search manager, add new content, and there is my duration field, right? So I can choose my file, whatever. This is not actually an audio file, but we'll assume it is. And then I add my duration. I look at my and save and publish it, right? So I just click cancel. All right, going back to content types, that's file content type. What about page content type? Well, we have a landing page and we have a page asset. We already use the page asset, but what if I wanted to create a new landing page? What does it do, right? And what's the difference? If we looked at what landing page does, you see how it's got a banner field here. It automatically allows banner content to be uploaded and used by the template that is customized to this content type. So whenever you create a landing page type page, then it automatically parses the banner and puts it on the page. So let me show you an example. Of how this type of page is different, because it kind of combines creating the page and the content in the same time. So new, I know it's not a landing page, it's not a page asset. Right click new page, and this time instead of page asset, we're going to do the landing page. And whenever I create my page, I'm going to place the content on the page at the same time. Banner page example. Subtitle of boat banner page. I don't know. Caption. I love boats. And then the type of page that I have to choose is a template that automatically is going to parse that banner that's part of the image. So I'm going to choose landing page, which that template is smart enough to know that it is for landing page type content. I choose a little, I think I have something on my desktop that's inside desktop demo and boat on a lake. And there's my little boat on a lake, and that should become part of my banner. Probably doesn't fit, but there's my boat on a lake. So now I've created my page where I can start lock for editing and editing content, and I've placed the banner that the template is smart enough to automatically pull at the same time, right? And then I can click on the add content and add new content and blah, blah, blah. Even though boats have nothing to do with the Quest Financial website, but I like boats, so that's my banner. So you can create different type of pages that the pages interact with the templates and automatically provide content fields or files or whatever from the actual page content to the template itself. I could have put another thing on the landing page that said, Facebook link. And my template could be smart enough to go ahead and pick up that link and then create a little Facebook icon over here on the header that would go with the Facebook link on each landing page independently. Okay, so as crazy as you want to get with it, you can do that. And you can see it's picking up the little caption or whatever underneath.